right, this is the start of a new series. I don't know how often I'm going to do this. This may be the only time I do it. Probably not, though. But it's a series I'm calling Quick Hit Reactions. And essentially, what it is, I'm going to parachute in, I'm going to look at something, make a couple observations, maybe, hopefully, a couple jokes, and then get the hell out. And that's it, right? Like, I'm not going to do a whole series. I'm not even going to do a whole episode in most cases. Just parachute in, look at, like, what the hell are you doing? Or maybe it's something that really cool. Like, I really enjoyed this one particular sequence. And then I'm out of here, man. Like, pfft. I'll never do this with a show I haven't seen before. And I was a huge Dallas fan. Like, what we're about to watch here is, of course, the infamous It Was All a Dream sequence. The end of season 9, the beginning of season 10. I quit. Like, I rage quit the show after what we're about to watch. Because like I said, I was a huge Dallas fan. Watched it all, loved it all. I was really young. I was like a young teenager. But it was just like it wasn't a typical show for a guy. I would imagine. I think that like, what you really have is like a lot of housewives watching this stuff. But just loved the show, and it was so stupid. Even then, I was a writer. I was trying to write my first novel at the time. The writing choice I made was so stupid, and they had so many other options available to them that I just rage quit. I've never watched it again. I've never seen past this particular point. Like it literally the scene where she explains to him it was all a dream, and they go to the next scene. I'm like, wait a minute, they're really doing this. Like I watched like about another 10 minutes. Wait a minute, they're really doing this. They're really doing this. They're really doing this. Then I just got up and walked out. Like my mom kept watching, and I just got up and walked out, and I never watched another minute of it. To this day, I've never seen it anymore. But that was a long time ago. What was that? 30 years ago? Something like that. I think 86, 87, something like that. When this happened, so dumb. But it was fun because we're gonna watch the end of season 9 first. It was fun because so much happened. Like it wasn't just Bobby in the shower. Like they blew up some people, as I remember it. They killed some people. It was like, oh my god, what the how are they gonna pay off all this? Well, they did that because at the time they already knew what they were gonna do. They were not going to have to pay off any of this stuff. You could have anything. You could have somebody walk in, pull a gun out of their ass, shoot the president, and then replace him with a liquid alien. And then you wouldn't have to explain it or pay it off the next episode because you know it's all a dream. So it was just very cheap, very lazy, very stupid. But but we had the finale. It's like, oh my god! Like, and I still remember the TV guide where it's talking about an explosion and a massive. We knew Bobby was coming back. We didn't know how, but we knew he was coming back. I think we knew, didn't we? I can't remember if we actually knew if he was coming back or not. I don't remember that. I remember a lot of what we thought and what we knew and when we knew it. But that particular thing, I don't remember if we knew he was coming back. I think we did. But here's the thing. I also remember there was a thing where like they shot one scene and he pretended it was a soap commercial. The reason they had him in the shower was everybody knew who he was. They knew he had left the show. They knew he had been killed off. Like he died. He died on the table. Like he died of like a car accident or something, and he was gone for an entire season. Like he literally died on the table. So what they did is they pretended they were shooting a soap commercial, and they had a very small, limited crew, not the usual people they used to shoot Dallas, because they had to keep it a secret. And this was before social media, and this was before the spoiler websites and the blogs and like the explosion of attention TV shows would get. They were back then. You just had to worry about the trade magazines. That was it. The trade magazines. Like we didn't even have blogs or anything. There was no way that, somebody would have to like go to the top of a mountain and shout it, or maybe do error writing or something. Like you would have to be covered on nightly news or something for a lot of people to know something. And they still took these precautions back then, pretending it was a soap commercial. And literally nobody knew. The director knew and the actor knew. Those are the only two people who knew what this was for. What they were shooting in one quick scene they shot with Bobby, right? So I actually don't think we knew he was coming back. We just knew that there was an explosion, like the people were going to die, and it was going to be a massive explosive finale. Is what they said, season 9. So then Bobby shows up and like, what the hell is going on? And then, fade to black, and that's they're going to the summer hiatus. So we had 3 months to speculate. It wasn't like we just had 1 week. We had 3 months to speculate. And TV Guide, I was a huge TV Guide fan back then. I read it every week, and there's all kinds of great features in it and stuff. And one of the things they talked about, like they had a special article the week before this season 10 premiere came out, But they got 20 different writers. Like it wasn't just novel writers; it was also TV writers and people that were not associated with Dallas. They got them all to say, "How would you bring Bobby back?" Because obviously we're bringing Bobby back. He's dead, so how are you going to bring him back? There's speculation like he might be a twin brother or something. That was pretty tired even back then. So who knows, right? Like, but like there was a lot of excitement, and the only writer I remember was Stephen King. Like they got Stephen King. Stephen King was even big back then. Like The Shining had happened. He had Carrie in The Stand, and Salem's Lot, and The Shining, and all this stuff. And he was already a superstar by that point. So that was the biggest name they got. And I was a huge Stephen King fan at the time. And so I remember he speculated that Bobby Ewing was a zombie. Came back as a zombie, and because he had dug himself back up out of the grave, he had all this dirt on him, and so he was taking a shower before he met her, before he woke her up and told her, "Hey, what's up?" He was taking a shower because like he had all this dirt and stuff on him. There was more to it, but basically he was a zombie, and the reason he was taking a shower is he was washing the grave dirt off him. And TV Guide really submarined the show and probably influenced me to quit the show because they had 20 writers. Every one of the writers' ideas, even a stupid zombie idea, was better than what they actually did. Look, it would have been better if he was a zombie. It would have been better. Like, you could have said a secret government agent. The Bionic Man had come out 10 years before. You could have said a secret government organization revived him, brought him back from the dead, Agent Coulson style. There's so much you could have done, and you did this. It was all a dream. Like, just so lame and so weak and just such a misstep. And it destroyed the show. Like, I'm sure, like, the show, I think, lasted for another 4 seasons. The show died that day. Yeah. Was it Entertain the Elk or whatever that YouTube series is where they talk about when a show dies? The show died that day, right then and there. It was already stumbling along. It was weak. It had already been shot in the leg, but, like, it wasn't dead yet. It died that day. Terrible decision. So, anyway, the point of all this is I was a huge fan. I know it's been a long time. It's been 3 decades, but I'm aware of the basic context around the show. I'm never going to do this look-in thing on a show I've never seen before. It's only going to be shows I've seen before, and I want to address a specific situation, a specific point, a specific scene or sequence, like we're doing here. Because there are YouTube channels I watch. I only watch the first and last episodes of a TV series, like Supernatural. I watch the first and last episodes. Well, that's just stupid. It's the worst trend on YouTube. Reaction channels watching the first last episode. And I'm sorry to I don't really go after other reaction channels for the most part. I'll have comments. I have opinions. I have a lot of opinions. But I'm not going to sit there and trash anybody, especially by name, for the choices they make. They get views. They get more views than I do. These people doing the first and last episodes get more views than I do. But I think it's stupid. I just do. So I'll never do anything like that where you don't know the context. You haven't seen what they put on film before. That's what I think is dumb about this. Like, you can't sit here and be making comments and observations and jokes especially about something when you watch the first episode and then you skip 150 episodes and then you watch the last episode. Like, there's nothing you could possibly get out of that's of any value. So my point is I won't do that. I'm not going to just jump in here. Let me jump in the middle and make some comments and then leave, right? It'll always be something I've seen before. But enough preamble. Let's go ahead and get into this. I wasn't sure exactly where to start. I decided to start with the wedding because soap opera weddings are always really tedious and really bad. Look at him, man. I have no idea what the character name is, but if you look at him with his Magnum PI's mustache and his discount Magnum PI looks, although he's older. His name, I'm going to say his name is like Dirk Steele or something.
Let him now speak, or forever hold his peace. Very well, then we shall continue.
That's always a dumb part of the ceremony. I don't even think they do that in real weddings, do they? I remember at the time I didn't know. Yeah, this guy, I think he's a assassin who blows up the car or something. I can't remember what he actually blows up. Yeah, and he has a whole, like, at the end after it blows up, they show him chewing some more bubble gum. Yeah. This is cool. It's one of the few things they did that's cool. Too bad, because he's ominous. And see how he's got, kind of a smirk and he's kind of got a sense of humor about it all? That's a great take on an assassin, right? So you don't really, at the time when you first watch this, you don't know what he's doing here. You only figure it out after the fact. But as I remember it, like, you don't figure it out right away. But you're like, what is this guy doing? Who is he and what is he doing? He actually seems a little familiar beyond the show. Look at him. See, this is a great take on the character, right? Considering how dumb this episode, well, really the next episode is a dumb one, but it's a great setup. Like, what is this guy doing? Like, why are we cutting this in the middle of, like, I'm sure the fans were waiting weeks, maybe months for this stupid wedding ceremony, right? This is their Super Bowl. For people who love soap operas, weddings are their Super Bowl. That's why they typically happen at the end of a season, you know?
In sickness and in health.
Victoria Principal, she was on top of the world back then. I think she eventually left the show, too. She's like, I see what Bobby Ewing's talking about. I think I'm out of here. What was his name? Patrick Duffy? Yeah, Patrick Duffy.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Also, another thing, there was two other stupid things this show did. One was the father had died. The actor who played the father of the family had died years ago. I think it was early one of the first 3 seasons, I think. This is the episode, or like a few episodes leading up to this episode, they were bringing him back. They were bringing him back from dead, too, by the way. It was going to be a guy, he didn't look the same. He was, like, he'd had his face changed for some reason. I don't remember what the convoluted reason for it was. But they started setting it up in this episode, because I remember he walks in the house, he's looking around like he recognizes stuff, and I think the wife is like, you know, his old wife is like, what, you know, what do you want? What the hell do you want? He's like, oh, nothing, just looking around, and he leaves. And then, after the dream is over, they bring the character back, and he does the same thing. It's like, we were going to do this, now that we make it all a dream, now we have to reset up the same character and do the same stupid storyline a second time, right? Another terrible decision. I think he's like a handyman or something. But that was dumb. That was around the same time. And then the other dumb thing they did was they, early on, I don't remember when this happened, but the woman who played the mother, I think either she died or she was recast for some reason. And they didn't want to get rid of the character like they did with the dad. I think it made sense. Let's go ahead and get rid of the dad, right?
I can't wait.
But it was this character here. Yeah, I think she's obviously the second incarnation. But anyway, they brought in another actress, and so she had been gone for a while. She had been flying to Europe, and so they bring the new actress in, and the family's waiting at the airport for her. Whole family's waiting at the airport, and there's like a crowd, and there's a bunch of people going by, so you can't see the actress. You can see like her feet and like her side and her arms or something. Actually, the actress must have been alive for the way they did this. And so, like, I don't think anybody knew they were recasting the actress. Like, again, back then, not social media. Now you would know 3 or 6 months ahead of time. But nobody knew at the time. So they show a little piece of her top of her head and her arms and, like, her legs, and there's a bunch of people walking by. So finally the crowd dissipates, and you can see her, and you can see it's a different actress. And they're saying, Mom! And one of them said something like, I almost didn't recognize you. And there was like some shenanigans music playing and stuff. And it's like they're always very, hey, you get the joke, right? You know, it was just very in your face and very stupid. And just, they were so full of themselves. The show, really the biggest issue with the show, I think, was arrogance. Like all these things I'm talking about. It was arrogance. There was just an air of arrogance with this show. Like we can do whatever the F we want. Whenever the F we want, and you'll take it and you'll like it. That's the vibe you got from this show. That's the aesthetic you were getting. It's just, like, it just rubbed me the wrong way. And that's why I eventually quit. It was an accumulation of things. There was a lot going on. It was fun. It was cheap, fun entertainment. The actors were charismatic. Larry Hagman was great. You know, and Bobby was great. And, you know, Victoria Principal, whatever the hell her character's name was, great. Like, there's just all the affairs and the backstabbing and all this stuff is all great. But the show just had an arrogance. I think that was his ultimate downfall. You know, every decision they made was because of their arrogance. But yeah, those are the 3 dumbest things I remember.
No problem?
No.
Yeah, there's always a problem with me, baby.
Office on a Sunday?
I got a lot of unfinished business.
I'm glad there was a sequel series that he was able to do a couple seasons of before he died, because he loved this character and he loved the show, and he never really did anything else. He was so typecast. Back then, a TV actor couldn't do a movie in the summer to like get some of that typecast off of them. They just were doing this. This was all they did. After this, they would have to leave the series to do a movie. That was the deal back then. You couldn't do both. You had to do one or the other. That's why Patrick Duffy left. He thought he could make movies, and nobody wanted to.
Yes, I do.
We always have to do it. Look at it.
If I see anything fishy, I'll just turn around and walk away.
So slick.
And by 11, you can send out the posse.
Yeah, so good. She's feeling dubious about all this. Why is our car so close to where we eat? Like we're rich. You got car fumes, even though he's backing up. Like, look, you're smelling the damn car as you're eating your breakfast, man. We're rich, man. There should be some distance there. Oh, here's the bomb. Okay, one bomb. I think there's actually multiple bombs, isn't there? Yeah, there's a bomb in that car. I know for a fact there's a bomb in that car. Now there's this bomb. Like maybe they're blowing up a bunch of like Larry Hagman. I think they're blowing up Jr. Actually, yeah. He may be the other person who gets blown up. That's right. This is a whole cabal of people trying to kill people. Good stuff.
Sensation you are, JR.
Yeah, it is. They are blowing up JR. Excellent. Pretty sure that's JR's brother.
As soon as you drop.
Okay,
He get
that's
blown
fine.
off the screen every time Larry Hagman's on the screen. Sorry, man.
Oh, you mean her?
Oh yeah, then maybe like the wrong person gets blown up. They're trying to kill one person. Maybe they're trying to kill all the or all the Ewings. They're trying to kill all the Ewings or something.
Be sure and take care of that little sister.
I don't really remember what the terrorist plot is. You know.
I remember that. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, like the sequel series, I'm glad because like he was back then. Keith Sutherland with 24 was the one who really broke the mold when it came to like because you could not cross pollinate. TV was considered the ghetto of filmmaking back then. You did TV because you were desperate and there was nothing you couldn't do anything else. Or if you came up from TV every now and then, like with Moonlighting, you would be you paid your dues doing crappy, pathetic, low rent, ghetto film work. That is TV. You paid your dues. Like you worked up from the trenches. You started off in the mailroom. And then by the time you get up to the penthouse of the high-rise building where the company owns the whole building, by the time you get to the high-rise, look, we know you started in the mailroom. We're not going to hold it against you. Welcome home. You can come. You can rub elbows with us. In other words, like you start out in TV. Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd, although she had done movies before that, but she was reduced to the ghetto, right? Bruce Willis started there, right? So Moonlighting, that becomes a huge show. Both actors are popular. They start getting movie deals. Show falls apart. Then that's all they do is movies after that, right? Sybil Shepherd had as many revivals. She did 3 or 4 movies or something. Bruce Willis, of course, doing movies until finally, his mind he started losing his mind and stuff. So, but he did that for about 30 years. So you could do that. You could start off in TV and become huge, but you couldn't do both at the same time. You couldn't be a regular on a TV show and then also do movies at the same time. It was just unheard of back then. Like there was just like physically, time wise, schedule wise, you could do it. You could shoot in during your break and Christmas hiatus and they take a mid season break for a couple weeks, and then you get 2 or 3 months in the summer. Schedule wise, you could do it, but they wouldn't let you. Like nobody in Hollywood would touch you if you were a regular on a TV show. You had to leave the show. You had to leave the stain of being on TV behind before they would let you do it. Right now, you can do both, and there's no stigma there anymore. Like TV is Sopranos helped change that as well. 24 did that, but Sopranos helped change it. Prestige TV, the best TV. You could be on TV and it's not like, oh my God, they're so much inferior to movies, right? So Hollywood got the stick out of their ass a little bit. So Larry Hagman especially wasn't able to do a movie every off season, every summer, to give himself different flavors and because he was a very good actor, incredible actor. Because he wasn't doing, nobody could see him as anything else for 14 years. Like that's like a quarter of most actors' careers, right? Like more than a quarter in most cases, a third of their career in a lot of cases. So nobody can see him as anything. You put him in a movie and they're just going to think JR and like it's going to detract from the movie. Like so he could never do anything else. So I'm really glad he had the sequel series, which I've never seen a minute of. But I'm really glad he had that and that was what he was doing when he died. I'm sure it made him very happy. He was able to work again. He loved working. He loved the character. He loved the fan base. Like he had his money with his face printed on it that he would sign for people. He would carry a stack of this money in his wallet or in his jacket pocket. A fan would come up, he'd pull one of these out, and he would sign it and give it to them. He loved the fans. He was a great guy. Like I've never heard a bad word about him. Character horrible, but the actor was incredible. So I'm really glad he got that. My only problem with this show is the writers. Like the actors seemed all wonderful people. Like I've never heard anything bad about any of them. Maybe even when you hear like they said this about, and they say this about women back then, right? But like Victoria Principal, was that her name, Victoria Principal, or am I thinking of a different actor? Anyway, whatever. Her, Bobby's ex-wife, soon to be wife again. She eventually left, and people were talking about, oh, she's hard to work with, et cetera, et cetera. Even if that's true, which I doubt it, because they say that about all actors that they don't get along with. Even if it's true, it's because the writing sucked and the writers were terrible, and the producers were terrible. So I don't blame the actors. Well, I guess I've dragged this out long enough. We're almost done with this finale. Let's go ahead and blow his ass up. It doesn't matter. There's no stakes. We'll just hit the We'll sit our fat asses on the reset button really hard right after this episode. Downtown Dallas. It's too bad this show came on before Jerry Jones. Because, man, he was a real life JR, man.
Why do I doubt that?
He's about to be out of here.
Oh, you know how it is with women.
Yeah. That's why I don't like doing business with them.
I was, what a dick.
There you go.
She waited for just to get on his nerves, I think. Making me impatient where he's not going to check to make sure there's not a bomb in there, right? That's probably the reason, actually, now that I think about it. By the way, you have to have the analog, manual way to set the bomb off back then. Man, 86 was a long time ago. Now, you could use your Apple Watch to set it off after you leave, right?
How about doing business with the woman who's wanted for murder?
I'm not.
Oh, well, I'm about to be wanted for more murder.
If you weren't guilty, you'd answer those questions.
That's not how the law works.
Somebody else would have.
Lawyers, all lawyers tell you should immediately talk to the police and tell them everything they want to know as many times as they want to know.
Too.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, well, boys, if that is enough, I don't know what is.
Uh-oh.
Liberty of asking some friends of mine to come and listen to this, just in case,
Wow, betrayed. She actually tried to grab her purse. I like that.
You got all you needed? We got plenty.
You fool. Already.
Nicely played. I didn't remember this.
All right, Miss Nero. I just like...
Cuff her, boys.
I'll tell you all about the Miranda.
Man, I had all this money. So he gets the information he needs and doesn't have to pay her. Gets all the information he needs, doesn't have to pay her. That's pretty slick, man. Yeah, nice high-tech phone there. I bet that was so high-tech back then. It's like, wow, man.
My phone service is disconnected. Will you?
Sure, I'll take this.
So I think she blows up instead of him. The phone call saves his life, right?
All right. Yeah, why? What's wrong? Angelica Nero.
Yeah. But I bet, man, that was the highest tech phone you can imagine back then, man. We still had the wall units. A lot of people are still using the rotary dials back then, man.
I just thought for a minute she might have gotten to you. No, I'm happy to.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sure my new wife isn't going to blow up. Right on cue. I kind of had a vague memory. Obviously, I remember this, but not well, but I do. That's right. Boy, we saved so much money not showing this explosion. They're about to cut to him chewing the gum, man. I love that moment. There's moments to love here. I know I'm giving him a heart. Here it is. Look at this. So good. See, that's good. The actor, the way he portrayed it, this little smirk when he's looking around, they're just showing him look, and then they bring him back in so you remember him. Like, the chewing gum really helps because face blindness. Like, you need something. They're perfectly executed. Like, they're not all bad, like I said. That was perfect execution. The chewing gum, I just realized this, too. The chewing gum really sets it in. You may not remember the actor, but you're going to remember the chewing gum, the combination of the actor and chewing gum. Like, you need that. That's better than somebody smoking because a lot of people smoke. Like, you can do something like they're messing with their glasses. Or, that's... So you let the information in there. See? We've got her especially being blown up, right? Now, they did it in such a way they're going to show the chewing gum guy again, aren't they? No. Well, it looks like she's about to wake up, right? So, this is how they end it, right? They have 2 explosions. And I think that was what the TV guy said. It said 2 explosions and a big surprise or something like that. And that's what we had here, back to back to back. It was a great way to end this. Too bad if they could have paid this off, this would have been even better than Who Shot JR, which they were obviously trying to top. Their finales have become a thing where the finales, you have to have really special things happen in the finales, right? They're trying to top it. So, this was an incredible finale, but it only stays incredible if you pay it off, and they didn't pay it off, right? So, it's kind of like you have a great wedding, but then the entire marriage sucks, and, who cares that the wedding was great, Bad analogy, but you know what I mean. So, they did that in such a way where you could say, okay, we know she's not dead. She was a massive major character. She's one of the big five in the show, right? She's probably not dead. Like if they had just shown her literally being incinerated and just her flesh being peeled from her skin and the skeleton just being dissolved and eradicated, people might be like, okay, there's no way they're going to actually do this. But they had to be ambiguity, which is again, I'm talking about some of the things they did right. They had ambiguity here. They showed the ambiguity of her walking in his office, and then they showed the explosion from outside. So anything could happen. She could have seen it at the last second. She could have been like somebody calls out to her, and she like steps back out of the room. So she just said she's gonna be in the hospital for 6 episodes. Maybe she loses her hearing, or she loses an eye, or whatever. Like 3rd-degree burns on half her body. Or they could kill her. They could do either one, right? But like they didn't definitively kill her. And same with the other woman, because they didn't even have to show the explosion. You assume she got in the car. You assume she's dead. So I don't remember how important that woman was, but I know this one. I think it was Jared's wife, right? Like she was a really big character. So that's crazy. Like it's like wow, man. Like so it's ambiguous enough that you believe that they could kill her off. Where ironically, if they showed her dead in a more vivid way, you wouldn't believe it. So like I said, they made really good choices there. Those 2 choices back to back were great. It was very well executed. Too bad they didn't pay it off. But yeah, let's get to this cinematic abortion here. This was also well done. Like just the fact she's waking up, she hears somebody in the shower, she goes in there. That's incredible, man. Like that just. The problem is anybody can do an incredible setup. It's like, oh my god, what the hell is going on? Anybody can do that. You got to be able to pay it off. But I will say, sometimes I've seen these setups not work. They fall flat. This doesn't fall flat. This is great.
Morning.
See, that's still iconic as hell, right? I didn't know how I was going to feel. I didn't pre-screen this. I did not pre-screen this, right? I didn't know how I was going to feel, but like I'm actually delighted. Like that was really well done. And again, I wonder what other lines they had for him in this soap commercial. Yeah, okay. Now we're in the bathroom. She wasn't in the shot, right? Because she wasn't there today. Matter of fact, let me go back and look at that. Look how they handed that off. I want to see how they handed it off. I think it was just a simple thing where they show her and she's reaching for the door, and then they change the camera angle, and then you just see the door, right? I think that it was just a simple handoff. I just want to see it one more time. But it was a close-up, and they have somebody open. It'll be interesting to look at this and see how they presented this as a commercial, right? But like, the shower door opens, he turns around, good morning, and they must have had other things to fool the crew to make them think it was actually a soap commercial. Like maybe they had some soap there. And he says, good morning, can you hand me the soap? I wonder, it was something like that. That's kind of what I would do. Can you hand me the soap? It's like every morning starts off good when you use this kind of soap or something. The only thing that mattered was him saying good morning, him turning around, right? So, but yeah, I just want to see this handoff one more time. So she's touching the door. Okay, yeah, so they do show the door opening. It's just as good twice, right? So they show the door opening, so I guess that was presented as part of the commercial, right? It's like the door opens, the camera comes in, the door opens, and he says his line, hey, good morning. Every morning starts off good when you use shiny brand soap or whatever. I'm terrible coming up with names on the fly, but yeah, man, like, this is incredible. This was executed very well. Too bad they couldn't pay it off, but let's go ahead and see that payoff. This I don't remember as well, other than the fact he like tells her she's dreaming. So let's just see how they execute this. Here we go. 100 million people threw something at their TV all at the same time. This got massive ratings, man, because people wanted to figure out how they were going to explain this, and then, man, the ratings dropped like a effing rock. Yep, do that handoff.
Good morning.
You better fade to black. Drag this out for another 40 seconds. I don't remember the theme song at all, so I'm going to enjoy this. I mean, it's coming back to me as it happens, right? Like, this is a great credit sequence. Look at this. Oh, my God. Yeah, this is all coming back to me, man. So many, like, probably, there was what? I think there ended up being like 31 episodes in the season. Like that was crazy back then, man. They didn't have as many reruns, right? It's one reason. Yeah, Cowboys would just wait, see what happens to those Cowboys. Oh, alphabetical order because of all the egos, right? Massive egos. Yeah, I'm back to being a regular, bitches. Linda Gray, that's right. Oh, it's all come back. Like so, hundreds of hours of entertainment from this show. You can't stay mad at it, man. And I guess they're showing them through the years, right? Like, that's kind of an interesting. Yeah, it was Victoria Principal. It's kind of an interesting way to do it. They're showing them through the years because it's been on for so long. It's been on for 10 years. You're showing them like what they look like when the show first started versus later, right? This was a hell of an accomplishment. Like, we'll never see the like of this again, man. There'll never be a show this popular for this long. 14 years, that's crazy. But their arrogance, like I said, their arrogance killed them. Leonard Castman and the two. So the two Castman brothers, and then one of them directed it. She dreamed an entire season and a half. Yes, that happened. Really? I guess I didn't want him to stand there naked for all the time. That makes sense. So have him come out, dry off, and then have the conversation out here. That makes sense.
Honey, what's the matter? You look like you just saw a ghost.
Yeah. Hardy har har.
You, oh, Bobby, it was awful. Thought that you were dead.
Jesus Christ.
Nightmare, a terrible nightmare.
Oh, Jesus. Even when you know it's coming, it's bad.
We started to leave. She tried to run me down, but you pushed me out of the way. And
yeah. It sounded like a really bad storyline we shouldn't have done. We should have sent you to Europe or something.
Hey, Pam, I'm right here. And I'm fine.
Wow.
Much more, and Bobby, it seems so
30
real.
years.
There was Sue Ellen, and there was Mark, and...
Yeah, people blew up. It doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, I love you so much.
Scrap. I think Roseanne did this too, right? But you scrap over a season of storylines. It never happened. Who would rewatch it? Of course, rewatching wasn't really a thing back then. Another reason you would never do this now is because you want them to be able to binge the past seasons, right? You can't say this entire season doesn't matter, don't watch it.
Bobby, don't ever leave me.
Wow.
I love you.
See, I remembered it wrong. I remembered that he had to convince her that she'd had a dream. But no, she was like, oh, yeah, of course. And if it really had been a dream, that's the way it would do it. Good thing you didn't get blown up. I don't think that's her, but like, whatever. The whole thing with the terrorists and the cops, I guess that didn't happen either, right? Yeah, well. There had to have been some other way for them to do that. There had to have been, man. I just don't, like, it's arrogance. Let me see if anybody ever explained why they made that choice. Well, they were lazy. Like, you know what? I don't think I am gonna. Yeah, there's nothing they could say that would make me feel differently about this. They were lazy. It was just lazy. That's what it was. It was laziness. People think that like digging ditches is not wanting to go out and dig ditches to earn money is the only way you can be lazy. Not wanting to take out the trash, not wanting to do the dishes or whatever. Right? Like not working out. There's also mental laziness. There's mental laziness. You don't want to take the time to think something through. You don't want to take time. Okay, what can we do? How can we pull this off? It takes a lot of time. You got to think it all out. Think of the angles. You've got people in a room. Like you have a writer's room. It's their job to think of this stuff. That's what really, it's not one person writing novels. Well, you know what? I'm tired. I just want to go to bed. I want this over with. I want to have fun tomorrow. So this is what I'm going to do. You have a writer's room. They spent weeks workshopping this, and this is what they came up with. That's what's so disgusting about it. Like I'm actually physically repulsed at how stupid this is and how lazy this is. What are your thoughts? Do you remember the show? What would you have done? How would you have brought him back? Considering like they presented, like they wrote themselves in the corner. They didn't think he was ever coming back. They were kind of pissed off at him, and somehow I guess ratings were falling, and they thought this would be a boost because it wasn't. They were getting ready to go into season 10, so like I'm sure they made a business decision to bring it back. But he's been presented as being completely dead. You don't want to be a sci-fi show, so you can't have him be a time traveler or a zombie even. What do? You want him to be on the show long term. It's not like you're just bringing him back for 6 episodes. You want him to be on the show long term. So what do? I guess the only thing you can do is you make him a secret agent who's had facial reconstruction surgery to look like Bobby Ewing, and you're bringing him in to. Well, you can do that either direction. Actually, you can say that Bobby Ewing, who died, was the agent who had been brought in to infiltrate the company and take over the company, and this is the real Bobby Ewing. He escaped. He had a concussion. He had temporary amnesia, so he's just going home. He's taking a shower because that's the other thing you did. You have to explain why he's in the shower instead of crawling up through a window or something like that. And then slowly he's like, "Wait a minute, something's wrong. Something's off. I've lost time." You could really play that out, right? Eventually they discover after about a half a season that he's the real Bobby. Another thing too, you can find evidence that there's an infiltrator, the medical records. This happened. This person became the infiltrator. So you would think that this is the infiltrator, and the real Bobby died. And eventually you reveal that no, this is the real Bobby. The infiltrator is the one who died, because there'll be a paper trail for the infiltrator. And then you bring the two storylines together. For a while, you're suspecting he's not who he says he is. He's all lying. And finally, after about a season, you've done that. Now, that's like a political intrigue type show. It's a different tone than what they were doing. They just wanted to get it out of the way and get to the storylines they wanted to tell. They didn't want to do anything cool. They didn't want to tell those kind of stories. So that's probably the other reason. We just want him back. People will get over it. Well, they didn't. It became infamous. It was a stain on everybody involved. It was a stain on the show, and yes, the show stumbled along for another 4 seasons, but they lost a lot of viewers. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost a third of their viewers. Maybe people stayed for a couple weeks, but the more they thought about it, the more pissed off they got, and they just quit. It would not shock me at all, because that's what happened to me. So, but what do you think? What would you do? How would you resolve it? Did you see it at the time? Did you never watch it, but you heard about it? Is that one of only 2 things you know about Dallas? Who shot JR and this? It was all a dream? Those are probably the 2 most famous things that ever happened on the show in 14 seasons. So, wild, man. Just wild.